Yaw Boadu-Ayeboah. He's a talent manager and also entertainment writer. And this afternoon we are talking about marketing Ghana music. Is it laziness or is it monetary issues? Well, he will be helping us do this discussion over weeks past, months past. We've been talking about some of these issues, and I would want to find out from him what exactly his thoughts are. Yaw Boadu, good afternoon to you.
Hi, good afternoon. How you doing?
Right. Hope you are well.
Yes, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Blessed. Okay, so
Great.
what's your take? I mean, over the years, we've had a lot of issues. Some have said that the Ghanaian musicians are lazy, they are not forceful, they don't push. And some have also said that, look, Ghanaian musicians are very hardworking, they are doing great, but just that there's no money to support their crafts. What exactly is it?
Well, we can't put the blame on the Ghanaian artists. Neither can we just also blame the industry. I think it's more of a, it's bit like it's on every single side. We have artists who are not forceful. We also have artists who are forceful. But the baseline for marketing is always being able to promote your product. And promotion deals with strategy, it also deals with finance. And looking at our industry in recent times, we are missing a lot of uh, how do I put it? A lot of frameworks that used to work in the past. So in the past, we had a lot of distributors from the like of Despite, Ajikut, who have stores, who bought albums and sold to the populace. So it allowed the artists to relax because it wasn't a burden of the artist to promote the album. It was a burden of the producer who bought or the distributor who bought the album. But unfortunately, we no longer have that structure in Ghana. Right now, it's on the doorstep of the artist to become his own promoter in a way. So it has led to us having such a burden because it takes a lot of financial expenses in order to be able to put your product in front of the masses. So, in as much as it's money, it's also strategy because we've also known artists in Ghana who have been able to promote their works and it's been successful. So, it's a combination of strategy and then the lack of money in the system right now for most people.
Right. So, what then is the role of the manager if they are unable to? Because if you're saying that the artists have to promote their music by themselves, what then is the role of the manager?
So, we have two type of managers that usually in Ghana we confuse. We have the or let's say the executive producer who many in Ghana will call manager. So the executive producer is the one who finances the record, who actually puts together the record, providing the money and also mainly does the distribution and other stuff. And the manager is, let's say, a PA to the artist. So the manager works for the artist, where the manager runs the day-to-day affairs for the artist, from interviews to booking engagements and all that. But Ghana is lacking executive producers. Unlike time past when we had a lot of labels like the likes of Step Entertainment, which was run by the now Deputy Minister of Creative Arts and Tourism, Honorable Marco Kumante, they used to finance or they used to be the executive producers. So he had the likes of Lord Kenya, Dasibre Jamna, where he took them to the studio, recorded it, took the product, and then marketed it. But unfortunately, if you look at the market right now, most of our artists are independent artists, from Shatawale to
Right.
Sarkodie. They are all independent artists running their own business. Luckily for us, we have Stoneboy who is under Def Jam, so he is out of the independent free. But most of the artists based in Ghana are independent artists financing their own stuff.
Right.
Okay, yeah, Harriet here. Now let's
Yeah.
take aside the fact that the artists are not lazy. Can we take a look at their attitude? I mean, over the years, we've had issues of artists fighting with their executive producers, people that finance their art, and when they go their separate ways, we hear a lot of stuff that they are ungrateful, they don't do right by the executive producers, and hence a lot of investors out there are a little bit hesitant to finance these artists, even though they are good and they know that they can get their money's worth. But it looks like when you put in the money, one, their attitude is not good. Two, you don't know how it happens, but you're not able to get your money's worth. Is that not the case? Can we set aside their attitude as well? What do you think?
Well, I've had a personal experience. So some years back, I used to run a record label with my people, and we had an artist. We were on the fringes of actually blowing up. We were able to secure some funding. Then I think the month we secured the funding, the following month, the whole relationship went south. So I understand it when people put it out because it kept my desire to, let's say, be in the record label business to support, because I couldn't believe once I found funding, then the artist is gonna, and it makes me feel like a liar. But then it's more than that. In as much as we have some artists who have attitudinal problems, it's also those with laws and structures. Like if the artists I worked with, we had an easier judicial service processes where I could go to court and I believe I would have justice in the shortest possible time. It would have been easier for me to go to court and probably get some of my money back because of breach of contract. But then unfortunately, most of the people in the industry who invest do not believe their time is well served in the through the legal process, because it's tedious, it's hectic. So if structures like this were put in place, it would make it easier for investors to know that if this artist faults in this contract, I'm going to get my money back through this so and so means. But unfortunately, it's usually hard, and then it becomes one of those things. But I think it's something we need to look at. Yes, behavior is an issue, but it's not the main problem. Artists will always be artists. They're always going to have ego issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the fact that you touched on the attitude and stuff are the minor ones. Let's talk about the big ones that are much of a problem, because we are. I know this whole conversation about music marketing in
Right.
Ghana has to do with the way Davido is promoting his album and the strategies that are being put in place and the
Right.
finance and the money that is being pumped into it. Now, you cited a couple of examples that gone were the days when we had the likes of Michael Kumante,
Right.
the likes of others being the executive producers, pushing these artists. Now, in recent times, we have grown. The industry has grown now. There are so many artists who are independent artists. Now, the question is, what is the way forward? Because even if you go to, we always complain about comparison. To me, I feel there's nothing wrong with the comparison. They are doing it. We have to, if you can't beat them, you join them and you try to also thrive and succeed in your endeavor. Now, our top list A artists, apart from Stonebwoy, the others are independent. What is the way forward? What can be done to make sure that when it comes to marketing, in as much as they can't really match up the standard or the level as independent artists, they also, level up the playing field so that they can take advantage of it? What is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is number one, strategy. Usually, if you don't have the finance to go as hard as you want to, you need to devise a way that you'll be able to use your resources effectively. Get it? It's not always about the money. We have projects. Even Davido himself shared that his previous album he spent close to $2 million. But he's not
Exactly.
being able to have the same effect as this current one that he claims he spent way less. You get
Yeah.
it? So it's not every time money is in the conversation.
True.
Strategy is always important. Use what you have to get what you want.
Yeah.
Even using the case study of Davido, one of the few things that has pushed the album was he spent $0 on. It was the simple TikTok video where he filmed himself, Mario Kun, and
Yeah.
DJ dancing the
Yeah.
and it went viral everywhere. And he did not spend a dime on that.
True.
You
True.
get it? So we as an industry need to think about strategy, because in terms of finances, unfortunately, we are not there.
Yeah.
Because event promoters are not paying the right prices, artists are not getting royalties of the product being used. Streams are not as profitable as we usually make it seem, because if based on streams from Ghana, it's one of the lowest paying. You
Yeah.
get it? And I think we burden our artists too much.
Exactly.
We kind of expect more from our musicians than even our politicians. We give taxpayers money. But
Yeah.
you get it. We need
Yeah.
to be fair with our They are not getting enough money. Because
Yeah.
imagine, he has to look after his family and all. So if money comes, that's the first thing they are thinking about. Their
Right.
family, how to eat. They're not thinking about some dope video that you say, wow.
True.
No. So we can't, then as much as yes, we can compare musically, I think we need to kind of know that Nigerian artists are at an advantage because they're in an industry where they have people willing to invest into the
Yeah.
craft, willing to even flex money into it. They just want to be associated with you. But here in Ghana, to spend money on even music is hectic. It's hard. We are not even seeing our big men appreciating our
Yeah.
talents,
Yeah.
investing in it,
Yeah.
pushing, and it's difficult being an artist here, and it's expensive.
True.
It's a very
True.
Frustrating as well.
venture.
Because
Amount of money you put into your music.
I mean, with all that you said, sometimes you are thinking of the strategy, the funding, the investment, and even the push. And one of the things that sometimes I really want people to touch on is the fact that I remember, I think a year ago, George Britton was talking about how much he has spent on Camido, pushing sugarcane, and we saw the results. Now, people come back and they bash him that, oh, you spent this huge amount, and so what?
Yeah.
Is it that sometimes, yeah, this is a question to you, is it that sometimes we don't really understand the level of how much you have to invest to get what you want, or it's just that mostly we Ghanaians just take things for granted. We really just don't want to push the artists as they always expect, or we all that we know is just to bash them. Is it that we don't understand, or the system is what is causing
Is it that they don't
the
understand
problem?
the music business?
Because
The business
know,
part, I think they
yeah.
don't understand.
yeah, are you still
Well,
there?
Yes, I'm here. Well, the whole thing is, I think most people don't understand what goes into making music. They just get the finished product, and
Yeah,
it's understandable being they get the finished product, but they don't know that you have to pay for the beat, you have to
Right.
pay for the recording, you have to pay for the mixing, the
yeah,
mastering, even like every step of this musical journey. Unless you are like someone like Shatwale who can produce and mix and master your own song, putting money at every single stage. You are not getting any kind of reprieve because you are going to pay for promotion. And this
Yeah.
promotion, sometimes you have to play free shows because you want to get into some people's good books to get some connections.
Right.
When you even become big and you start charging, you have to do people come like, oh, we were part of your success story, give us discounts. People are not are valued. You see, we are not valuing the craft itself to be able to
Right.
pay what is due. And if we are not able to give this artist money enough to keep producing, then it affects the total output because you don't
yeah.
expect to see world class visuals or world class music or mix when the artist is making peanuts from the money they are making. You get it.
Right.
So I think we need to. I think musicians need to educate the fans on what goes in. But fans
Ex-
will be fans. They
Exactly.
don't care.
Yeah, the fans will always be fans. And
Right.
it is high time we step out. I mean, this conversation, I wish we'll have a broader
Yeah.
one, have you in the studio so that we
Yeah.
talk about this. Because, and I'm really hoping that the day we have you, we will have the likes of Pep Jr. coming in to
Right.
actually talk a bit more into what they did for Davido in terms of the promotion. Because you see, Davido is in Nigeria, but then the management team sees the importance of coming into the Ghanaian market.
Right.
And I'm thinking they'll likewise do the same thing in South Africa,
Yeah.
do the same thing in Rwanda, do the same thing in Kenya. The question is, when our artists, the few ones, the independent one who drop singles or albums, how deliberate are they? Can they also go out and pay that huge amount? Do they have the executive investors? I mean, these are conversations that we
Yeah,
have to
but
have.
You know,
on a
labels
broad
also have their own
space.
different issues,
Yeah.
and the likes of Richie Mensah just last year was mentioning how some artists feel like they are entitled. So instead of them to, work hard, he said now it's even very easy for them. Yeah. Richie is saying it's very easy for them right now to even promote their song. But back in the days, you have to
wasn't
take
like
a car
that.
from here to Navrongo to go and pay some form of higher for your songs to be played. But now it's easy and they feel entitled. Do you think that entitlement is actually killing our artists at this very moment?
Attitude and time,
Right.
and like everything.
Everyone is entitled.
Yeah.
That's me. That's me being honest. The
You're right.
musicians, yes, are entitled. There are DJs who feel entitled. There are media personalities who feel entitled.
Right.
Every single person in this chain is entitled. So we can't just put it on the artist's floor.
But should
And
they
yes,
even feel
in
that
a
way?
become it's become easier for artists to promote their music because of social media.
Right.
But let's be honest, even now, people who used to promote artists for free on social media are charging huge sums of money
Yeah.
to use even your song to do a TikTok,
Yeah.
to post it on social media because they feel they are cashing out.
Yeah.
And if we keep that thinking that we are going to hit by grace, yes, there's a possibility you might hit by grace. But if you want to be intentional about
Maintain
it,
it.
Yeah.
you need to invest a certain amount of money into whatever you are doing. But for entitlement, everybody is entitled. That's why
Yeah,
we have
as for the entitlement,
Yeah.
Everybody.
even I think Nana, if it's you, cry, you'll be entitled. Because I mean, if the right systems or the right strategies, the right plans are put into place, and maybe everything is going on well, and the artist feels like I'll be entitled. I mean, everything like he's right to feel like that. But then, Charlie, we just have to have
you ask the question. But you ask the question whether the artists have enough money. Honestly speaking, the artists in Ghana don't have the kind of financial muscle. So as I said to you, I'm working with Morgan Heritage. We are about to release an album on the 21st of April, and we are doing like a Pan-African kind of promotion from Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. And looking at the budget that is being used for just Africa, not the rest of the world, I don't think an artist in Ghana can self-fund until they have the support of the business label, like the way now has said.
Yeah. We have to go. Thank you very much for your time. I guess we'll have to continue this conversation.
Yes,